Japanese, humidity, salt, rust. All right, guys, we have fresh from Japan, a 1999 Stagia. This thing, really cool. It's the first time I got to see one this close up and personal, and we're working on it. It's got the RB25 DET Neo. This thing, you can tell it was an automatic at one point. Now it is been converted to the full-on all-wheel drive GTR drivetrain, essentially. So it's got everything out of there into this thing. It still has the automatic transmission cooler that was in the radiator and in the front. It's all been bypassed, so there's signs telling us, and of course on the dash it's got the park, reverse, neutral, drive readout on the cluster. So nonetheless, really clean little setup. It has your typical Japanese humidity, salt, rust. Going on. It's not too bad on this car. It's actually pretty tame. There was definitely a lot of cluster Fs going on as far as like, why was this undone? Why was a bunch of stuff done? So we've made the wrongs and righted them. Like the air filter, to give you an example, was like almost broken in half. It had a aftermarket silicone inlet coupler, and it has no reinforcement. And the bend that it has to make to go from the factory MAF down to the inlet of the turbo was just completely kinked. So you can picture it's like a 3-inch to a 2.5 transition. In the middle of that, it was completely kinked. So I have a photo of it. So we fixed that. We addressed that by actually modifying that inlet, and then we put a piece of pipe in between to reinforce it, to prevent it from doing that. So we did a full inspection, compression check on the engine. Engine is super healthy. You can really tell just by starting it on a cold start. It sounds really good, but compression was high 150s, low 160s. Did really well. It had NGK iridium plugs, which were good. It just had the 5 heat range. It had BKR5 EIXs. We went ahead and put a 2-step colder plug in it. So we put BR7s. Our fuel isn't as good as it is over there. And who knows how much ignition timing these guys are running over there. Like I said, in the past, I've seen mid to high 20s on a boosted engine. Granted, it's not making 15 pounds of boost, but still it's a lot of ignition timing, especially on 91 octane, even if you're making under 10 pounds of boost. Fluids are all really nice. As I mentioned, this thing came straight from the port here, and pretty cool little setup. So we are going to be pulling the drive shaft out of this thing. I have the ECU out of it. We'll take a look at that in a second. Nissan offers support for the JEX ECU on this thing, so it's got to be a Series 2. Series 2 came with the JEX ECUs. Series 1 Stagias have the Hitachi ECU, and Nissan does not offer support for that. So you have to find a JEX ECU or get yourself a standalone like a Haltech, and then you can party on with this thing. So really just going to leave boost to where it's at and get this thing dialed in for California fuel, and we'll see how it does. Everything else is really good. There's no leaks underneath. It's in really good shape overall. Just need to address a few of the visual cues. Fender liners are missing, splash shields are missing, pretty typical stuff. Some light rusting issues that should be taken care of. That way they don't get worse. Thankfully here in California, it really won't go too bad, but still a good thing. Catch it while it's early. And then, the other thing I'd recommend is if you're going to be buying something that's coming out of there, or any car really, right? You want to see when the timing belt was done. Accessory belts look good, but you really want to get a service history as best as possible. If you can, who knows if they're lying. Like this thing came in, and immediately when I pulled it off transport, the windows weren't working. So let the customer know and said, hey, the windows aren't working. He reached out, he says, hey, the windows were working when they had it in Japan. I said, well, they're not working now. Well, come to find out, thankfully it was something not too difficult, but there was stuff disconnected behind the door panel. Who knows, right? I mean, you're buying a used car, have no idea what you're gonna get, right? People make promises, a lot of promises aren't met. but thankfully we got that taken care of, and I'm in the middle of getting the ECU prepped. But let's take a look underneath the car so we can kind of get an idea of what to expect when you are getting a Japanese car. All right, guys, under here, really clean overall. As mentioned, a little bit of light rusting on the body. This can be taken care of pretty easily. So I've seen other ones, other cars from JDM land, just be holes, you know, almost as big as my head in the body. So this thing's relatively clean. As mentioned, we don't have the bumper splash shield. It's got an aftermarket body kit. It has the provisions to have some stuff. Engine splash shield's missing. This thing, as far as anything done to it, pretty basic. As mentioned, it's got that silicone intake coupler that we fixed. We removed the broken air filter, put a Canon air filter. Funny enough, we had a 350Z VQ35DE panel filter, went in beautifully. So it's got that now. It has some sort of after pipe, up pipe, after the factory cast downpipes, Nissan Cat, and then we have a Kakimoto, I believe, a catback with a resonator on it. So you can see it's got the push style fork mechanism for the clutch. It's missing the dust boot, but no leaks. Really nice. We'll end up pulling the drive shaft out to be safe so we can put it on the dyno, put it in two-wheel drive mode. It's got your typical 90s crappy tension rod bushings that have failed. So we'll get these replaced. That'll make it track and handle way much better, so much better, right? Intercooler, factory intercooler, it's tucked up right over here on the left-hand side of the car. But yeah, overall, pretty nice little car. This is a factory cooler. It's not being used. You know, if you guys come over here, you can kind of see the exhaust took a couple of hits, but underneath the body is really nice. There's no evidence of it being in a collision or an accident. You can tell people jacked it up incorrectly on the pinch welds on both sides. So people just go in there and just go to town. They don't really give two shits about it. So a little bit of that, but nonetheless, honestly, really nice. So looking forward to getting on the dyno. We'll get it dialed in and we'll go from there. As far as the suspension goes, the only thing it has is a set of, looks to be really old teen coilovers. You can tell this strut over here has been leaking for quite some time, and the body, the actual paint, is starting to bubble up because of the rust. The rust has gotten underneath that thing and started to eat away at it. So definitely would benefit from a new coilover setup that'll help it. So who knows? I mean, these cars are going on 26 years old. So who knows? This may have been done in the early 2000s, but it's definitely time for a little bit of love when it comes to the suspension. The bushings overall look decent, but yeah, you'll see like the shield, it's rusting pretty good on this. It's the first thing to start getting eaten away. And back here is where you would definitely want to stop some of the cancer from getting worse. So it still has time to save this thing.